Before you reach for the bug spray, before you light another citronella candle that barely works, and before you spend another summer hiding indoors because your backyard has been taken over, I need you to hear this. Mosquitoes are not just annoying. They transmit West Nile virus, Zika, and dozens of other diseases that affect millions of people every single year. And most of us are fighting back with a candle and a prayer. There is a better way. 15 plants that you can grow right now that mosquitoes find somewhere between deeply unpleasant and completely intolerable. Some repel, some overwhelm their sensory systems entirely. And one of them, I am saving it for last, does not repel mosquitoes at all. It kills them. Stay with me all the way through because the way you deploy these plants matters just as much as which ones you choose. Drop your U.S. state or your hardiness zone in the comments right now. Zone matters for several of these plants, and I want to make sure you are getting recommendations you can actually use where you garden. Just your state or your zone. If you are new here, subscribe before we get started. This channel comes out every single week with practical gardening advice you can actually use. Subscribe and let us build your mosquito barrier. Number 1, lavender. Lavender has such a pleasant reputation that it seems almost wrong that it is also a weapon. The same aromatic oils we find so calming are experienced by mosquitoes as a chemical assault on their sensory system. Those oils disrupt the olfactory receptors mosquitoes use to locate a blood meal. When they cannot smell you, they cannot find you. Lavender grows best in zones 5 through 8, though some varieties push into zone 9 with well-drained soil. It wants full sun and dry conditions between waterings. The most common mistake people make with lavender is overwatering it. It evolved for drought. For maximum protection, plant it along the edges of patios and seating areas, along footpaths where people brush against it regularly, and beneath windows. The more contact the leaves and flowers get from people passing by, the more oil releases into the surrounding air, and the stronger the barrier becomes. Cut fresh sprigs and lay them near doorways or on outdoor tables. It looks beautiful and it works. Number 2, citronella grass. Most people know the name from candles. The actual plant is something else entirely. Citronella grass grows 4 to 6 feet tall, dramatic, bold, and it is the original unprocessed source of the oil used in those candles and sprays. Here is what makes the living plant dramatically more effective than any candle. When you brush against it or break a leaf on a warm day, you get a concentrated burst of that familiar citrusy scent directly into the air around you. Rub a fresh leaf on your skin before heading outside, and you have a natural repellent that rivals many commercial options. Citronella grass is perennial in zones 9 through 11. In cooler zones, grow it in large containers you can bring inside before the first frost. Plant it in clusters at the edges of your entertaining space. The more surface area releasing that scent, the wider your protection zone. Number 3, catnip. I know what you are thinking. But hear me out because this one is genuinely remarkable. Researchers at Iowa State University found that the active compound in catnip was approximately 10 times more effective at repelling mosquitoes than DEET, the gold standard of chemical repellents the military has used for decades. 10 times. That finding caused a significant stir in the scientific community, and for good reason. Catnip does not work as a direct skin repellent the way DEET does, but as a garden plant saturating your outdoor space with that compound, it is extraordinarily effective. It grows in zones 3 through 9, which makes it one of the most adaptable plants on this entire list. Full sun to partial shade, tolerates poor soil, practically indestructible once established. The one non-negotiable rule, grow it in a container or use a root barrier in the ground. It spreads through underground runners exactly like its mint cousins. In a pot on the patio, it is perfectly behaved, endlessly functional, and if you have outdoor cats, prepare for them to be absolutely delirious. Number 4, rosemary. Rosemary earns its place in a garden 10 times over. Beautiful structure, small blue and purple flowers that pollinators love, one of the most useful culinary herbs in the world, and mosquitoes despise it. The sharp, resinous pine scent comes from aromatic compounds that evaporate continuously into the surrounding air. For mosquitoes with hypersensitive sensory systems, that kind of constant chemical presence is overwhelming and disorienting. Rosemary performs best as a perennial in zones 7 through 10. Some hardy varieties survive into zone 6 with protection. It demands full sun and excellent drainage. Here is a tip that will genuinely change your outdoor entertaining. Throw fresh rosemary sprigs directly onto your fire pit when you have guests. As it burns, it releases those oils as smoke that drifts out over your seating area. It smells extraordinary, all like a gourmet wood fire. And your guests will ask you all night what that amazing smell is. I want to pause here for just a moment. If you are not subscribed yet, please do that right now. This channel comes out every single week with practical content built for gardeners who want real results in their outdoor space. Hit subscribe and let us keep going. 11 more plants, and I am saving the most unusual one for last. Number 5, basil. Most mosquito-repelling plants need to be crushed or disturbed to release their oils. Basil is different. It emits its protective compounds continuously and passively, which makes it one of the most effortless options on this entire list. Place pots of basil near every outdoor seating area, along railings, beside doorways, and on windowsills where a breeze carries the scent. Lemon basil and cinnamon basil have particularly strong chemical profiles. It is a warm season annual that wants heat, full sun, and consistent moisture. And it rewards you with fresh herbs for cooking all summer long. Fresh pesto while your yard smells incredible is about as good as gardening gets. Number 6, lemon balm. Lemon balm smells like someone crossed a lemon drop with a fresh summer garden. It belongs to the mint family and carries that family's impressive mosquito-repelling power. Crush a handful of leaves between your palms and rub them on exposed skin before going outside. Completely natural, gentle on skin, and genuinely effective as a quick topical repellent. It grows in zones 3 through 7 and tolerates partial shade better than most plants on this list, making it one of your best options for shadier garden spots. Grow it in containers. Lemon balm in the ground will spread by runners and by self-seeding until it has claimed far more territory than you intended to give it. Number 7, marigolds. If you want the single most cost-effective, most foolproof option on this list, it is marigolds. A 6-pack costs a few dollars at any garden center. They grow in virtually every climate during the warm season, and they are loaded with pyrethrum, the same compound used as the active ingredient in a huge number of commercial insecticides and pest control products. Plant them in dense borders around your patio, vegetable garden edges, and walkways. The denser the planting, the stronger the effect. They also repel aphids, whiteflies, and deer. And they bloom continuously all season if you deadhead the spent flowers regularly. Number 8, peppermint. The menthol compounds in peppermint overwhelm mosquito sensory receptors, making it nearly impossible for them to function around high concentrations of the plant. Hardy in zones 3 through 8, grow it in containers without exception. It spreads through underground runners with a relentlessness that borders on supernatural. The bonus? If a mosquito gets through your defenses and bites you anyway, crush a few peppermint leaves and rub them on the bite immediately. It soothes the itch and reduces inflammation. Your offense and your defense on the same team. Number 9, lemon-scented geraniums. You may have seen these labeled as mosquito plants at garden centers. That marketing is actually accurate. They contain high concentrations of natural insect repellent compounds that have been well documented in scientific research. Perennial in zones 10 and 11, grown as container plants everywhere else. The leaves are where the magic lives. Brush against them, crush them, and the scent release is immediate and strong. Position them along paths, near doorways, and in hanging baskets around seating areas where people naturally brush the foliage as they move through the space. Number 10, eucalyptus. Lemon eucalyptus is the only plant-based insect repellent officially recommended by the CDC as an effective alternative to DEET for protection against mosquito-borne illness. That is not a small endorsement. That is the Centers for Disease Control putting their name on a plant. Most eucalyptus grows in zones 8 through 11. In cooler climates, grow it in a large container and move it inside for winter. Even cut branches placed near your outdoor dining area release that clean medicinal scent effectively. And the foliage dries beautifully and retains much of its potency, even dried. Number 11, sage. Sage has been burned in ceremonial practices across dozens of cultures for thousands of years, and there has always been a deeply practical reason underneath the tradition. The aromatic compounds in sage are potent, natural insect deterrents, and especially when burned, the smoke drives mosquitoes out of any space it drifts through. Grow it in zones 4 through 8, in full sun and well-drained soil. It actually becomes more aromatic in hot, dry conditions, more potent exactly when you need it most. Throw generous handfuls of fresh or dried sage onto your fire pit before and during outdoor gatherings. The smell is extraordinary. Number 12, pennyroyal. Pennyroyal has been used as an insect repellent since ancient Rome. It is a low, creeping plant that works beautifully between stepping stones and along pathways where foot traffic crushes it regularly and releases the oils with every single step. Hardy in zones 6 through 9. One important note, pennyroyal is toxic if ingested in meaningful quantities. Keep it away from areas where small children or pets are likely to chew on plants, and never use the concentrated essential oil on skin. Number 13, alliums. Ornamental alliums are among the most visually dramatic plants you can grow. Those enormous, perfectly round purple globes on tall, elegant stems are showstoppers in any garden bed, and they are quietly protecting your yard the entire time they are doing it. The entire allium family, which includes ornamental varieties as well as garlic, onions, chives, and leeks, produces sulfur compounds that mosquitoes and a range of other garden pests find deeply repellent. Hardy in zones 4 through 9, fully deer resistant, and they naturalize and multiply over years with no effort from you. Number 14, bee balm. Bee balm might be the most wildlife-friendly plant on this entire list. Hummingbirds seek it out specifically. Native bees depend on it. Butterflies visit it constantly, and it quietly repels mosquitoes using compounds they find deeply unpleasant. It blooms in vivid reds, pinks, lavender, and purple from midsummer into early fall, exactly the peak of mosquito season. Hardy in zones 3 through 9. Choose mildew-resistant varieties, space plants generously for airflow, and divide every 2 to 3 years to keep it vigorous. Number 15, pitcher plants. I saved this one for last because it is in a completely different category from everything else on this list. Every other plant we have talked about repels mosquitoes. This one kills them. Pitcher plants have evolved specifically to capture and digest insects. The tube-shaped leaves attract mosquitoes with nectar and scent. The insects crawl in, cannot escape because of downward-pointing hairs and a slippery interior surface, and fall into a pool of digestive fluid at the base. It is ruthlessly efficient. North American pitcher plants are reliably perennial in zones 5 through 9. They need specific conditions: full sun, consistently wet and acidic soil, and nutrient-poor growing media. Peat moss and perlite. Water with rainwater or distilled water only. Tap water is too alkaline and will kill them. Set them in trays of standing water to keep the roots perpetually moist. If you have a low-lying, perpetually wet spot in your yard that has been a problem area for planting, that is your perfect pitcher plant site, and nothing breaks the ice at a backyard gathering like showing your guests a plant that eats mosquitoes. Now that you have all 15, here's how to deploy them for maximum effect. Think of your outdoor space in 3 zones. The outer perimeter. Plant your larger structural specimens here. Citronella grass as a screen. Eucalyptus if your climate allows. Allium clusters. Bee balm in generous drifts. First line of defense. The mid-garden area. Fill in with sage, rosemary, lavender, and marigolds in dense rows along paths and edges. No scent-neutral corridor for mosquitoes to navigate through. Right around your seating area, containers of basil, peppermint, lemon balm, catnip, and geraniums. The plants you brush against as you sit and move. When you light the fire pit in the evening, throw on rosemary and sage and let the smoke do its work. And the final piece, eliminate standing water anywhere in your yard. Mosquitoes breed in as little as a bottle cap of still water. Empty saucers under plant pots after rain, clean gutters, turn over buckets, keep bird baths fresh. No amount of repellent plants will fully protect you if you are providing breeding grounds 10 feet away. Do those 2 things together. Plant a layered combination of these 15 and eliminate standing water. And you will genuinely, noticeably transform your outdoor space into somewhere you can actually sit at dusk in summer and enjoy. Drop your zone and tell me which of these 15 you are planting first. Subscribe if you have not already. Happy gardening.